Santa Clara, California. Should he? Or shouldn't he? Entering the Monday Night Football showdown against the San Francisco 49ers, Detroit Lions coach Dan Campbell weighed whether he should rest or play the starters. After careful consideration, he decided to go with his top guys in a rematch of the 2023 NFC Championship game as the Lions escaped Levi's Stadium with a 40-34 win over the San Francisco 49ers while avoiding any major injuries. Yeah, it was on my mind, and I thought a lot about it. I thought about it leading up to the game. I thought about it last night, Campbell said. I told the staff, but I ended up settling on the right thing to do was to play these guys because we owed it to the team. It was just one of those positions we were in. It's hard to say who you're going to sit, and it's not fair to ask guys to play that hadn't been prepared to play, he said. So yeah, that was tough, and I think the biggest thing is there were things we wanted to do better than we did last week, and we did. We cleaned a lot of things up offensively. Campbell said the Lions were playing to win, although the game didn't have playoff implications. However, their pride was on the line after blowing a 17-point halftime lead to the same team last postseason to fall one game shy of reaching the Super Bowl. That loss still stings for those who suffered a defeat that day. I really wanted that get back, said Lions safety Kirby Joseph, who finished with 2 interceptions. I feel like we came in here last year, and they beat us, so I still had that chip on my shoulder from last year. Like they say in the media, this game didn't really mean much, but this game meant a lot. I feel like we were so close, and we came up short, so the feeling just to come back out here to San Fran and come back and get a win. I know we started off slow on defense, but we were able to finish, Lions quarterback Jared Goff agreed. And in his California homecoming, he threw for 303 passing yards while completing 26 of 34 passes with 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Campbell made it clear that the starters were playing, so Goff entered with a mindset to compete, saying he put the thought of sitting out to bed pretty early on in the week. He threw for 3 touchdowns for the 7th game this season, tying Matthew Stafford, 2011, for the most in a season in Lions history. I'm sure that's tough for him, but I think that's the only way we know, Goff said of Campbell playing the starters. It's just go and find a way to win, and the team we were playing in San Francisco. This is what ended our season last year, and there were a lot of guys on this team that were there last year that wanted to get one back on them, even though in a lot of ways it was meaningless for them and meaningless for us, but they were prideful out there, too. They were trying to beat us as well, and it was a fun game. Detroit now prepares to face the Minnesota Vikings at home on Sunday night with the NFC North Division title and the NFC's number 1 seed on the line. For Campbell, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Detroit is one of 5 teams since seeding began in 1975 that has never been a number 1 seed, along with the Cardinals, Texans, Buccaneers, and Jets.
This is what you're in it for, man.
Ultimately, this is it, Campbell said. I mean, you couldn't write a better scenario. You couldn't come up with this. The fact that both teams are sitting at 14-2 and it's for the division and the 1 seed. It just doesn't get any better than that. It's like this is fairy tale stuff. And so, it speaks for itself. Our guys are excited. Santa Clara, California. After taking a sack late in Monday night's 40-34 loss to the Detroit Lions, San Francisco 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy felt a familiar and concerning feeling in his right elbow. I got hit on the backside and basically just my arm was on fire kind of thing, Purdy said. I tried throwing a couple on the sideline, and I couldn't at that point. Given that Purdy suffered a torn ulnar collateral ligament in his right elbow in January 2023 during the NFC Championship game against the Philadelphia Eagles, it was hard for Purdy and those observing not to wonder if he'd suffered a similar injury Monday night. While Purdy is set to undergo further testing on the elbow Tuesday, he and coach Kyle Shanahan suggested that the initial indication is that it's a nerve issue unrelated to the ligament. We did some tests with UCL stuff, and I'm good in that regard, Purdy said. But we've just got to go get imaging on it tomorrow and see the whole thing. Before Purdy spoke to the media and discussed his evening, Shanahan said the doctors told him they think the injury is some nerve stuff. Shanahan said he wouldn't think the injury is anything to be concerned about long-term, but that further testing would be needed to confirm that optimistic outlook. I know everyone when they hear about Brock's elbow and stuff just like me, you think of the elbow injury from a couple of years ago, Shanahan said. But just talking to the doctors, he just got hit in the right spot. When you get hit there, your nerves go, and you can't feel much, but hopefully it will be all right. With the 49ers trailing by 12 and 1:45 remaining in the game, Purdy took a shotgun snap and scanned the field before trying to escape to his right. He was greeted there by Lions safety Brian Branch, who wrapped Purdy up and brought him down for a sack. As Purdy rolled over, Lions defensive end Pat O'Connor landed on him, hitting Purdy's elbow with his hand and then his face mask. Purdy was slow to get up and then made his way to the sideline with backup Josh Dobbs replacing him. On the sideline, Purdy could be seen talking to doctors who were looking at his right hand, wrist, and arm. He attempted a couple of throws but was unable to regain feeling in the elbow and did not return for the rest of the game. In the moment, Purdy said the elbow felt heavy in a sense. "It has nothing to do with tapping out of the game or anything like that," Purdy said. "I love my teammates and I'll go to the very end for them and this fan base and everybody, so that's what hurts me is I couldn't finish the game. But again, we'll see tomorrow." Purdy tore the UCL in his right elbow against the Eagles on January 29, 2023. At the time, Purdy described the injury in far harsher terms than what happened Monday night. Purdy said then that his arm felt like it stretched out and that he felt just like a lot of shocks all over from my elbow down to my wrist, front and back. That injury required a UCL repair and a lengthy rehabilitation period, though Purdy was back in time to participate in last season's training camp and back at full strength at the start of the 2023 regular season. After the game, tight end George Kittle wasn't overly troubled about Purdy's elbow. "I'll be concerned tomorrow if I need to be," Kittle said. "Right now, I'm not worried about it." Monday's injury brought a premature end to one of Purdy's most productive nights of the season. He was 27 of 35 for 377 passing yards with 3 touchdown passes and a rushing score before his departure, though he also threw a pair of costly interceptions. Filling in for Purdy, Dobbs went 3 of 4 for 35 yards and scored on a 7-yard scramble, though the 49ers were unable to recover the onside kick to try to pull off a late comeback. Shanahan said Purdy's status for Sunday's season finale against the Arizona Cardinals is up in the air and that Dobbs would be under consideration to start that game instead of Brandon Allen. For his part, Purdy hopes his elbow will be healthy enough to allow him to finish the season against Arizona. "We're at a professional level and this is as good as it gets," Purdy said. "So, for me it's like, why wouldn't I play for my team and try to get some momentum going for the next year with our guys and make a statement to everybody here, and that's going to be here next year, that I'm a competitor? I want to be out on the field any chance that I get. That's my mindset."